work in our lives. There are days when we don't feel like He's at work. There's days that we feel like He's nowhere to be found. But we proved to you the last several weeks, and I want to go a little step further today, that God is continually, constantly working in your life.
Yes, He is. Yes, He is.
And I think I told you last week in 2 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 8, and God is able to make all grace abound towards you. Won't you look at that? It's towards you. His grace is abounding towards you even when you haven't done anything to deserve it.
All right, amen.
It's abounding. It's increasing. When I wake up in the morning, it's already there.
Yes,
Hello.
yes,
When I lay my head down at night, it's already there.
Thank you.
It's abounding towards me. Look at this. That ye always have an all-sufficiency in all things. You got everything you have need of.
Yes, sir.
Come on, you do.
Yes,
You
sir.
may not think you do. Now, I hate to bust your bubble. You ain't got everything you want. You'll never get everything you want.
Amen.
And you'll go in debt getting everything you think you want. Wishing after you got it, you didn't get it. Hello? It's a whole lot easier to get it than pay for it, I can tell you that. But it says that it may abound to every good work. God is working things in your life so that Sister Lulu, at the end of the journey, everything He's ever done in your life is going to abound for every good work.
Yes, yes.
When you look back over your life and you see all that God has done for you, you won't be able to have to thank Brother Hickman. You won't have to thank Lighthouse Church. You won't even get to thank your mom and dad. You'll have to kneel down and thank God. Thank God He did it for me. He is my sufficiency.
Yes, He is.
In everything that I have need of. And so I want to talk today about Sister Cheryl. He is providing me with help.
Yes, He is.
With help.
Yes, He is.
Now, I don't know a single person in here who doesn't need some type of help
Lord
today.
knows.
Come on.
Amen.
If you're like me, I need truckloads of it.
Amen.
Come on.
Amen.
Maybe some semi-truckloads of it. I need some help. That's why Deuteronomy chapter 33:25 is a very wonderful verse for me. It may not speak to you, but it speaks to me because this is what it says: as your days, so shall your strength be. Now, when I was 20 years old, I would be able to jump over this pulpit. But now, because I'm 50, I don't jump over it no more. When I was 20 years old, I'd carry 3 bundles of shingles, that's a square, up a ladder and put it on a roof. I wouldn't even attempt to do that now. Come on, talk to me. But I'm learning something that I might have been a lot stronger, Brother Ray, back then when I was 20. But the older you get, as your days are, so shall your strength be. How many knows that I know that there's some better days behind me, but I still got some strength in me. Hey, come on, talk to me. I'm not over with. It's not over with yet for me. Come on. And so as my days are, so shall my strength be. Hello? That God is my sufficiency. Don't count yourself out. Don't count your situation out. Don't count your circumstance out. Because God's always working behind the scenes. He's got something in plan for all this. He's good at taking our messes. Anybody got any messes this morning? He's good at taking our mistakes. Anybody got any mistakes this morning? He's good at taking our mishaps and making miracles out of them.
Amen.
I mean, he's glad he can do that. So he's providing me with help. I want you to notice something. As your days, so shall your strength be. This is a promise. And this promise is hinged on something. It's not a week. It's not a month. It's not a year. He's giving you the strength that you need for what? For a day. For a day. Now I want you to understand that. Because It doesn't matter what kind of day it is. Are you with me?
Oh,
Come on,
yes.
brother.
It doesn't matter to God what kind of day you're having.
Amen.
How many's had some bad days
Oh,
lately?
yes. Oh, yes.
How many's had some sad days
Oh,
lately?
yes.
How many's had some long days
Oh,
lately?
yes.
How many's had some good days lately?
Yeah.
Come on, talk to me.
Yeah.
You've had some happy days. If you're like me, you've had some stressful days. Like the Cotton family, you've had days full of grief and sorrow. The York family, days full of sadness. But he's talking about every day. Every kind of day. So it doesn't matter what kind of day you're having. As your day, so your strength's going to be.
Uh-huh.
Come on. Sister, I learned a long time ago. I don't depend on my strength. My strength would have kept me in the bed this morning.
All right. All right. Yes. Yes, it will.
My strength would have called in and said, you know, preacher's absent on vacation. Wish I could take a day or two off, Sister Cheryl. Hello, come on, talk to me. But I'm just afraid somebody might need something from God. So I don't want to do that. Are you with me? So he's speaking of a day here that he says, as your days are, so shall your strength. I want you to write this down, church, because listen, the Lord's promise is, I'll be there to give you just what your day requires
Yes,
you.
it will.
I'll give you just what you need today. There's some days I don't think I'm going to make it through. But when I close my eyes at night and I lay down in my bed, I have to say before I drift off to sleep, thank you, Lord,
Yes,
for giving me the strength that I needed today.
Amen.
Today. What do you mean, preacher? Well, he'll see to it that whatever you need, you'll get.
Yeah. Come on.
How many's got everything you need?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, we do.
I didn't say everything you want.
Yeah.
I said everything you need.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
Yeah. You got everything you need.
Yeah, we do.
You may not have everything you want.
That's right.
Hello?
Yeah.
You may not have everything you wish for.
Mm-hmm.
But believe me, my grandmother, who just died last month, taught me a long time ago. She lived to be 104, but taught me a long time ago that if she could make it through the Great Depression and have everything she needed,
Come
Well,
on now.
we could make it through any recession.
all right. All right. Amen.
Come on, talk to me. If they could make it back then, trusting in God to meet their need.
Yeah.
How many knows I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor the seed go begging bread?
Yeah.
The thing is, we always are not satisfied with what we need. We always want a little bit more. You can count on His provision for at least the next 24 hours.
Man.
You can do that. Remember the story in the Old Testament of the manna in the wilderness? I'm not going to go through the whole story, but it's the lesson of the manna in the wilderness is that He gave them the manna that they needed for the day.
Yeah.
Now there was a few stingy people back then. So the children of Israel was told, I'm going to paraphrase it for you, that when they saw it on the ground, they asked, what was it? And Moses told them, it's manna. What is it? Exodus 16 and verse 4. And it says, when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, what is it? It's manna. For they did not know what it was. And Moses says, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. You know what? Miraculously, it rained down from heaven every day for 6 days. Every day of the week, when they got up in the morning and they looked outside their tent, the manna fell from heaven.
Come on.
It fell every day, 6 days a week.
Yeah, come on.
It doubly fell on the 6th day, so they wouldn't have to gather it on the 7th day.
Well, all right. All
And
right.
He did that all the time. Are you with me?
Amen.
He told them, he said, now only take what you need. It says, gather it every morning and eat it. He even gave them the amount, Sister Lulu, an omer full for every man,
Come on.
according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. So every person, Sister Shirley, got an omer full, got a serving. And you know what? There was a few in the children of Israel that gathered a little bit more. But he told them specifically, don't gather more, don't gather less. Take the amount that you need. Oh, are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me?
Right.
And when some of them took more than what they needed, I want you to notice, they went in for a midnight snack, Sister Lulu, and the thing that they thought was a blessing that morning had turned out to become wormy that evening.
All right. All right. Read.
Too much of a good thing.
All right. Read.
Too much of a good thing. I won't even go no further there. Y'all know what I'm going to say. They just didn't understand verse 18. And when they did meet it with an omer, and he gathered much, no one had anything left over. And he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. So it didn't matter if you got a handful or if you got a bucket full. It was enough to meet your need.
All right.
Because God is sufficient.
Yes, He is.
You know what I love about that story? He did it every day for them.
Yeah.
He did it every day for them, Sister Linda. He did it every day, 6 days a week, for 40 years.
Amen.
Yeah.
And we wonder how come God can't